Hello, this is BNR from Jane Sees the World. In this series, we're digging into the world of AI and learning how it can help when travel planning. For this video, we are going to share our experiences using ChatGPT when searching for food recommendations on a trip to Eastern Canada in October of 2024. This time of year is the end of tour season and many stores and restaurants were closed down. We were frustrated several times on this trip because we showed up at a restaurant only to find it boarded up for the winter. To begin with, we asked ChatGPT what some local dishes are in this part of Canada that we should for sure try. I really liked the description and the speed. The answers came from ChatGPT. It recommended seafood, chowder, and lobster, but I liked the results of other things that I'd never heard of, like donair and rapi pie. But first, some context on our eating style on trips. Okay, B, let's talk food and what we do on trips. What's our stance?
Well, we do not identify as foodies, that's for sure. We definitely are not up for trying every type of local cuisine. Not our jam. I'm probably a little pickier than you are, but you definitely have some hard stances on some things as well. So,
Like mayonnaise.
mayonnaise, chicken on pizza, and seafood.
Yeah. All right. And what did you think of the food in Canada?
I thought the food in Canada was good, but then again, I'm a huge fan of poutine. So as long as I can get my hands on some poutine, I'm very happy. Also, this particular area of Canada that we went to is known for its seafood, and I happen to like seafood. So I did enjoy when we were able to find a meal, I did enjoy the food.
All right. How many times do you think you ate poutine?
Three, four. We were only there a week.
I think you're on a once a day poutine.
It's very hard for me to say no to poutine. I just love everything about it.
Yeah. I think what I liked best was Acadian food. And for people out there who don't know what the Acadian food is, I was one of you. Um, but I learned about it when we went to New Orleans. And strangely enough, the Acadians are the people that got kicked out of Canada and they made their way down to New Orleans and they had food down there, but they were French to begin with. And so it's kind of like a French food, but with local ingredients. So it's a lot like the Creole food down in New Orleans. So I thought that was, with the exception of the rapi pie,
There was an exception. There was a pretty major exception.
you were waiting for it. Rapi pie is a dish with chicken and potatoes cooked in a way that makes them gelatinous. We heard eating it fried like this was more palatable, and since it wasn't my fave, I'm glad I didn't get the traditional version.
But folks all over the interwebs and in person said you have to have lobster rolls when you're in this part of the of Canada.
So
And
explain what a lobster roll is.
it's basically just like chopped up lobster with some stuff on a roll.
It's like chicken salad.
Chicken salad, but with lobster. And of course, everyone kind of has their own combo. So I was like, all right, I'll do it. I'll eat a lobster roll. And I've got to admit, it was very, very tasty. Very tasty. So I don't know if it was just being in the moment in the place or if their lobster is superior there. I have no idea, but it was tasty.
All right. It was really helpful for ChatGPT to develop a list of food recommendations, but it wasn't helpful in locating open restaurants for us. We landed in Halifax late one evening and we wanted something easy and close. I pulled up chat and typed in the prompt of what is good restaurant that's open now and close to the airport. We got one an hour away and one in New York. Let's talk about our first night in Cheticamp. Do you remember that? Do you remember the situation?
I
What
do
happened?
remember this situation. Cheticamp was not big. However, it was big enough to have several restaurants. And you would have thought we could have found dinner on night one.
You would have thought so. Yes. So we did look it up in ChatGPT, looked up some restaurants in Cheticamp, found some restaurants in Cheticamp, walked to those in a pretty blustery winter storm
Winter
kind of,
conditions. Winter
yeah,
conditions.
winter conditions. And the first place that we went to was just completely boarded up. It was done. The second place that we went to, we made it through the front door and then we were turned away because they were closed. So we went back to the hotel and ate snacks.
Scrummaged around in the bags for whatever we could find.
And it's not the first time we've been in a situation like that. So every time that it does happen, it just reinforces the fact that you need snacks at all times and a variety of them so that you can at least get something sort of healthy, like peanuts.
Peanuts, a little protein or fiber is always appreciated in those situations.
Yes. So you got to pack your snacks. Let's see, it was the next day. We went out on an adventure to see Cape Breton and again looked up ChatGPT and were guided to a restaurant. And what happened?
It looked like the restaurants the night before. Completely boarded up and closed for the season. Closed for the season.
Yep. So another bummer. We were let down again. And that time they did have an open grocery store, which was advantageous and nutritious. We ended up getting all sorts of stuff there, like yarn.
I believe, yeah, we bought some yarn at that grocery store. Some New Brunswick local made yarn.
Yeah. Yeah.
Never discount a good grocery store.
One thing I tried out on ChatGPT that I thought was really cool but we didn't end up using was building an itinerary based on eating. I put in where I thought we'd be at certain points in the day and asked for recommendations. The results looked really good, however this type of itinerary didn't work for us. We ended up at the places at the wrong time, so we weren't really able to capitalize on the agenda. I could see how this would be cool though if your trip was primarily focused on food. All right, so what do you think overall our success rate was for using ChatGPT to find us restaurants that we could actually eat meals at?
Well, I know that we ended up finally eating at one restaurant that I can remember that ChatGPT recommended. However, it doesn't get a full point because it was also closed the first time we tried to go there. But we were changing up our schedule. We were able to get there before it closed and eat the food from this establishment. And I thought it was good. It was a good recommendation. It just, the hours weren't accurate to what ChatGPT told us. So made it a challenge.
Yep.
And then I think we failed on every other thing that we tried to eat at from ChatGPT's recommendations.
I think so too. We really struck out. And it's not to say we didn't eat good food in Canada. One of my favorite meals was stumbled upon. That was that waffle sandwich with soup. I thought it was delicious.
Yeah, that quirky little place.
Yeah, so
we
much.
Going there twice. Yeah.
Yeah, we ate there once on one part of the trip, and then we swung in again because we knew it was a restaurant that had good food. So
and was open.
And was open, but no, it was not a chat recommended establishment. Here's another recommendation from you for snacks on trips.
Well, one of my favorite things with AI at this point is researching snacks and foods. It was not something I set out to do, I feel like, but it just made sense with research. And it's been a really useful AI result, I guess, is finding out what the local delicacies are, or the candy, or the sweet treats that you need to try, or the local made soda. These things show up in an AI prompt in a way they never did in any other research that I did. And so
it's very fast. That's one of the things that I think is most impressive is it's scouring the internet, all the weird little blogs and sticking all the food suggestions in one place and it spits it out. So do you remember the name of those candies that were pink?
Something bones? Chicken bones. They were called chicken bones. Yeah.
Yes. Chicken bones, which sounds not appealing. But we'll see. Spicy cinnamon flavored candy with bitter chocolate center.
Give her a taste.
They're hard, like those old candies
old-timey
that
candies
your grandparents had.
Grandma used to have. Does it taste like something Grandma used to have?
Yeah. It's very cinnamony. And then the chocolate comes in at the end. It's not bad.
Well, what would you rate it 1 out of 10?
Maybe a 5. Like, I wouldn't go out and just pick this up from a grocery store like I do Sour Patch Kids. In summary, we love ChatGPT for finding food recommendations of local things to try. We liked ChatGPT for recommending restaurants, but had little confidence they would actually be near where we were or open. Our advice is to find the recommendation using AI and then look it up on maps to check the hours and then go to their website to see if you can verify. And lastly, whenever you are in Canada, make sure to visit a Tim Hortons. Subscribe to the channel and see how other AI engines helped or didn't help us on this trip. Happy adventures!